Okay, today we're going to be doing the number 2 in a series of what we hope and think are public domain songs. Sometimes I find out after the fact that they're not. The first one we did last week I thought was public domain. It was called Carrickfergus. It was an old Irish folk song from the 1700s. As it turns out, YouTube popped up with a matched third-party content. I went, huh? And so I looked at the person that's claiming that had supposed the license to the song, and sure enough, in the 1960s, somebody took a 200-300-year-old folk song and put it down on paper and ran somewhere and got it stamped, and they own the license to the 300-year-old folk song, which they didn't write. It doesn't make any sense to me. So anyways, I apologize for the first song, being kind of incorrect. So the second song I've researched, and like I said, I won't know until I upload it in YouTube, Google/Viacom, and the various ASCAP and BMI agencies, let me know, the parties that be let me know. But all my research I've looked into, this is definitely a public domain song. This even goes back further than Carrickfergus. Some people put this back to the 1400s, to nature-based people, nature-based religion, religious cultures, people would call pagans, that this song is actually a way of them to practice their faith, because the Christians were banning and harassing them. A war on paganism. They bring up the war on Christmas, they never bring up the war on paganism. Christians, they love that. But anyways, sorry, dig about that, Christians out there. But you guys, your history's a little. But anyways, I don't want to make this a religious thing. But basically, the song is a pagan way of them, celebrating their religion, through an innocuous little song, sitting around singing a song. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 verses that represent the 4 seasons, and then death and back to winter again, which that's what represents me. The first verse is winter, and it's funny because when I was first introduced into the song, someone told me the song was about a drunk brother or an alcoholic uncle or whatever, because John Barleycorn can also mean a drink that people made, an alcoholic drink from. You can make, of course, alcoholic drink from potatoes, corn, rye, almost any kind of vegetable. And grain, excuse me, not vegetable, but grain. But when I read it, I didn't get that at all. What I get it out is the first verse is winter. The seed, it'll say John Barleycorn is dead. The seed, the plant died. But nature, the Great Spirit, whatever you want to call it, leaves the seed from the dead plant. We pick that up and we hold it till spring, and then the second verse, which is spring, they plant it and they let them lie for a long time. You'll hear the words that they put it in the field and let the seed lie, and that's summer. It grows all summer long. And then comes autumn, of course, where it's grown, and they harvest. They talk about they tied them by the waist. That's actually the cord around the wheat. They would gather the corn. They would gather the grain and bring that up, and then they would tie a rope around it and have it in bundles in the fields, and then the next people come by and pick it up and put it in the carts. And then they, of course, bring it to the barn to store it in the barn. And that's the last verse is kind of winter, where they bring it into the barn, they bring it into storage to feed them in winter, because of course winter, there's you can't farm in winter. You got to live off what you farmed it. And then at the end, it's it's kind of a look back on it. It's death again, but just like pagan-based spirituality is, it's the cycle that comes around to spring, and death leads to rebirth, leads to the cycle of life. And so that's what this song, I get from listening to this song. And there's been many bands who played this through the years, most notably Traffic in the 1960s played a version of it. And I'm going to be, their interpretation is the interpretation I'm heavily influenced by. And that's the word I use, interpret. When you take an old folk song that belongs to everybody, belongs to the community, you do your interpretation of it, And so I don't think people should own licenses to it just because someone did a version of it. That's their version. I may be influenced by your version more than other version, but it's still my interpretation, and I get licensed by it because it's the public domain. It's a folk song, that someone who wrote it wanted to pass it down, and it's passed along through the generations. and that's one thing I love about folk music. And but anyways, Traffic, also Jethro Tull did a version of it. I grew up on them and loved them, and I guess all of them being from England, grew up on the English folk songs and stuff, and a lot of acoustic guitar stuff, and they really got into that good old English folk songs. And so Traffic played it on, I did their interpretation of it. They played it with the capo way up on the 7th fret. I know, it's way, way, way up there, and it kind of hurts your hand. You know, you got to move your capo all the way to the edge as much as you can that way, and like that. So you got some little bit of clearance right there, so it doesn't dig into your knuckle right there. And basically, it's in the key of A minor. For those, I'm going to try to show you these songs too, so you all can learn how to play them too. And that's the whole reason of folk music, is teach someone else, and they pass it on, and that's why this song has been alive for over 600 years. And so anyways, the chord progression basically, it's in the key of A minor, but it starts off with, the first verse is D, A minor, C, G, A minor, and then the second part will go D, C, G, A minor. Okay, and then the third one goes back to just like you did the first time. D, A minor, C, G, A minor, and then the third part will be a little bit different. C, A minor, and then C, D, E suspended fourth, lift your pinky, open E suspended fourth, regular E, and then back to just like you did the first time. D, A minor, C, G, A minor. Just repeat those over and over again. You may want to download a copy on the internet and have it in front of you. I'm going to have mine in front of me today. Apologize, we're looking kind of down, but there's a lot of words to the song. It's a very complex song. So, and there's one word in here that I had to look up, and you'll see it's in the 4th verse in Winter, when they store the corn in the barn, and it says they bring the corn into the barn, and they say, and there they made a solemn mow, M-O-W, mow. I had to look that up, and it's basically a mound of grain that's kind of I would say, for lack of a better word, of an altar, kind of a spiritual altar for God, or the nature gods, or the corn god, or the corn spirit, or whatever, has to do something with that. And I guess that's what's where we get our word when we mow the lawn. When I saw M-O-W, I think of mowing the lawn, but this is mow. And it's an old English word that, of course, probably don't use anymore. That was a pile of hay, or a pile of corn, and this one, in this verse, they're making a solemn mow, maybe a better choice, a sacred mow, because they realize if they don't keep this corn stored in good shape, they're going to starve in winter and all be dead. So and it was a gift from the Great Spirit, Goddess, and God and Goddess, whatever your Great Spirit, great incomprehensibility, whatever your interpretation is. I don't want to get into that, but anyways, here it is. John Barleycorn, an early, what I would call, my interpretation, and what I call an early pagan nature-based spirituality song, possibly from as early as the 1400s and 1500s, 1600s maybe. So here we go. Oh yeah, I have to mention I'm going to be doing a little 2 phrases for the intro instrumental and between each verse, and it's real simple. It's just the D, C, G, A minor, and you do that twice. D, C, G, A minor. And then a couple things I might want to notice too is I'll be doing is when I be going sometimes to the C, is when I put the pinky down, is I'll just keep that down and go right to the C, so the C has the 7th down there. So it changes it from a regular C to a C seventh, which is kind of sounds mandolinish, more like a lute, or kind of like Middle Ages, I don't know. And then, like for instance, I'll be doing a lot of pull-offs and hammer-ons. Like for instance, the A minor on the 4th string. On the 2nd finger, I'll be pulling up and hammering down. Give it a little mandolinish, lutish type sound. So, look, pay attention to that. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 3 men that came out of the west, their fortunes for to try, and these 3 men made a solemn vow you like it. Hope you like playing along, and I hope it inspires you to learn this song and play it, and learn folk songs, traditional songs, and keep this alive and learn about them. So I'll see you next time for the next public domain, or hopefully public domain traditional folk song. See ya.